Pattern options are going to appear as soon as you select some objects and start to make a pattern out of them. And they're going to be where you are controlling how the tiles are arranged relative to one another, how far apart they're spaced from each other, and other things that are important when you're trying to make a pattern. So we're going to make one that looks like this, just some real basic shapes. Going to select them, object, pattern, make, and then it's telling us there is a swatch right here in the swatches. And once we get done, changing the options around to how we want them and click done, then that swatch will be there for us to use. So within pattern options, we've got the ability to name the pattern, which is always a good idea. Then how the patterns are put, how the tiles, are put relative to each other. Right now, they're just in a grid with one above the other, one next to, perfectly aligned like so. But if I change that to brick by row, then you can see that they're offset from each other. And we're going to talk about the hex one in an upcoming video, but for now, just leaving this on brick by row. And you can see the offset being 1/2 means I've got my original tile here, and then you can see above it the next tile is 1/2 of the way over in terms of its position. If I change that to 1/3 or 1/4, you can see how that is shuffling the offset. So let's leave it at 1/2. From there, width and height are controlling how far apart the tiles are. So if I change this from 3.49 something to 4, the width, they're going to be spaced apart more. If I change the height, same thing, they're going to be pushed farther apart. Now usually it's pretty difficult to type in numbers and without a lot of fiddling around with it, make them look good. So there is the pattern tile tool button right up here in the upper left. You click on that, and then this blue box becomes interactive for you to click on the points, the anchor points, and then you can just intuitively, visually move the tiles around, right, by just spacing it out by looking at it. And that's a lot more easy. Of course, the width and height numbers are changing as you do that, but it'd be very hard to type in specific numbers when you can just do it by eye. The other things are, you're seeing here the number of copies right now at 5x5. So if I change that to 9x9, there's just a lot more of them. And then the dimming of the copies, the tile copies, is usually pretty useful. So here you've got them at 60%. If I change that up to 100%, then they're all fully opaque. But that can be great for previewing, but usually when you're making adjustments, it's good to have the copies dimmed so you can see the original tile, and then you might be working in it, and if everything is fully opaque, it can be a little bit distracting, or at least difficult to tell where your original tile is. So dimming down the copies, good idea. So once we have this looking like we want it to look, we're going to click done. From there, we have that pattern now in our swatches. We're going to create some kind of an object and then apply the pattern to it. And then from there, I can go in and with the scale tool, change the scale, whatever I need to do. Now I am going to say, 50% here. I don't want to have the objects transform, just the pattern itself. In this case, I'll leave scale strokes and effects clicked too, because as it scales down, I don't want the stroke on these shapes to become really thin. I want it to sort of have that same weight in proportion to the shapes. So I'll leave scale strokes clicked, click OK, and there we go. We've got a pattern that we controlled through the options panel.